business, but we've also had conversations about real life. And so I think they are extremely excited to tell you all about some of the takeaways that they've had from the program so far. And I'm going to introduce them. We're going to start, since you're still sipping, we're going to start with Miss Wakita. Come on up. We're going to bring it all up at once, and then I'll let them talk. This is Wakita, and we have Alexis. We have Tamia. And for those of you who are missing, you have the pleasure of meeting Miss Shania. So we are already prepared. You guys can go ahead and keep it simple, but yes.
Hi, my name is Wakita. I'm 18 this year at Robinson High School. And from this program, I learned that growing a business takes a lot of commitment, hard work, and time. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. You have to progress into your business and do whatever that you would like to live your life. And I learned that you should do what you love in order to start a business. My name is Alexis. I'm 17 at Harlan High School, and I learned and he said like, building business is pretty hard, but when you kind of work at it and like take your time on it, it can really be like a benefit for like the future and everything. You might change the world. And and what I learned at this business is yeah, it's hard, but the one I chose, I feel like it was perfect. And I love it. I think I can learn to do it. I'm 60 years old. I attend the and what I've learned in this program, it can be very difficult to actually come up with ideas without people assuming that you're taking their ideas. It is hard. It's up to you to make it fun, to make it seem like you can make yourself seem like it's not really a big deal, but it is. You have to have a lot of things that you need in order to have your own business. You have to put enough work and effort into your business, just like as much as you put your work into things you do. But it's always important to not let people drive you in the direction they want to drive you in the direction. If you have to do things yourself, you are doing this for yourself. But there are ways here to generate community to actually help people grow more, just like people in office. They help make laws, they help change people, social companies, they help put people self-esteem. Just like any other company, any other business that you do, it's what you love to do.
So now we're going to go in reverse. Shania is going to tell us about her business, which is going to say what your business is and what it is about.
So my business is a bakery, and my bakery is Shania Sweet Bakery. My bakery is going to be consistent of a lot of sweets that you can think of, but I haven't really learned that yet. I want to make this business to be a highlight of my community. Like my community, that's donut shop. That's it. I want this baby to be the number one single thing to actually, for people to actually get up and get excited. I want you to come in and say, I want this. I want you to always come back to me, order something, and I give you. I want you to rely on me to do everything for you. You want a cake? I got it. You want muffins? I got it. You want me to do something else? I'll do it. It'll be very sufficient of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
My business is first and food. I'm doing photography. I know other people that they have this big substances, but I want people to just like chill, take their pictures, and let me spark out their pictures for them. I want them to see like, I'm sorry. Basically, I just want to feel like they superstar. A star walking with their carpet and stuff.
Okay. So we do business called P4P, which is Palace Community, Palace Pets, and we wanted our business to be like a one-stop shop. We got clinic, daycare, hotel, and gift shop for pets.
Well, we were trying to start small by only babysitting dogs for the summer, and we were trying to build up to, as you said, like a big one-stop shop. And this will allow owners to go out places and leave their pets with us, because we all know we love our pets as their children, so they will always be treated as royalty and have a safe environment. And we love animals because we want to major in veterinarians, so we hope that we can build up to that and also be sophisticated and know a lot of things about our animals.
So the important thing and reason why I wanted those young ladies to talk for themselves is actually some of the donors, the generous donors for the Thrive Leadership Academy, the youth pillar, are actually here. So I wanted them to see the fruit of their investment and the hard work that these young ladies have been putting in. So we thank you so much, and we applaud the work that you're doing. I just saw my brother Matt Boyd. Hopefully you can come up, Mr. Boyd, and give us a little bit, just tell us a little bit about your experience with the Thrive Leadership Academy. Now we're shifting a little bit here. Matt Boyd is one of 4 entrepreneurs who has actually just seeded grant money with our partnership with Trinity International University to launch his business, and I'll let him take it from there. He was actually our #1 winner. So, Brother Matt, take it away. Yes, sir.
My name is Matt Boyd. First of all, here I congratulate the young folks. That's an inspiration to me to keep moving forward. The Drive Academy entrepreneurship program that I got up to back in January, it was a blessing to me. I wasn't expecting it. Simply by me ringing the bell for the Salvation Army last year, I found out nothing for it. And what I really liked about it was me being a member of the universal body of Christ. I was a member of the church in locally, and how do you embrace it with love? And I learned a lot while I was there. I already had my business going to Washington, so I just didn't have the funds to really get things that I need. And it was a surprise when I went up for the first place. I really wasn't expecting it. I had put myself actually in the last place, the report went up. And by the grace of God, he said, no, you know, I want you to have this. And what more can I say? I'm still excited about it. Still haven't really sunk in that I actually want for it. You know, but my perseverance of going every Saturday, you know, coming from the south side to the west side on the train early in the morning, I do pay off. And it's a scripture in the Bible that I stand by, Jeremiah 29:11. God told me a long time ago that things come. Things prosper enough to harm you in the future and hope. I'm excited. I really mean that. And I like to thank Pastor Howard for the Tribe Academy again, for allowing me to be a part of the entrepreneurship program.
So before you sit down, sir, did you talk about your actual business?
Did
you already talk about it?
Washington and janitorial. And like I said, I had, it was already going, but it's not as good as it could be. Now I can get, you know, a van that get me from point A to point B more faster. I don't have to get on the train with my buttons, my squeeze and things like that. And, you know, I think I beat them off the ground to get better.
Thank you so much. So what you all have seen thus far is what Thrive Leadership Academy has been, which is basically working with people with ideas and helping them to turn those ideas into for-profit businesses. The build out going into, which actually already started, of the Thrive Leadership Academy is that step one, we want to start with discipleship first. That before we talk anything about business plans, elevator speeches, all of the things that they've been talking about, we want to first say, hey, what does it look like for us to just kind of share life with you and talk to you about what's going on in your life? Because what we found with this work is that in order to have sustainable enterprises, you need healthy people, right? So there's a sense that the next group that comes in, like Mac and like our 4 entrepreneurs, they're first going to go through a 12-week process. That's first discipleship and coaching, to coach them with leadership development, and then also just talk about things like purpose, talk about things like passion, and things of that nature. And I have to give kudos to you, Mark. Mark Chasman is actually a mentor of mine, and I went through the Social Leadership Academy, and a lot of the work that I'm doing more on an indigenous level. Mark and actually Adam as well, who is a coach and co-founder of the Academy. I learned a lot from them, and I said I want to kind of take what they do on a global level and do that for the sake of the near west side of Chicago, and hopefully we can create a model that we can use in other areas as well. So that was just kind of a little bit of the introduction that I wanted to offer as it pertains to people who've gone through our enterprise development cycles of the Leadership Academy. But what I'm excited about is that we're actually piloting the discipleship/coaching component of what we're going to do with TLA and Thrive Covenant Church. This is Aisha. I want you to talk a little bit, but it doesn't have to be much, elaborate, nothing like that. The reason why I want Aisha to talk is because since we launched the workshop at our church, so we do at Thrive what we call a merger of worship and workshop. So we have standard worship service, and then after the worship service, we have a workshop, namely the discipleship coaching component of the Thrive Leadership Academy. And I'm going to let her speak for herself, but I believe Aisha has been excited about what we've been doing, to the point that she said, Pastor, I want us to kind of have further conversation outside of just what we're doing in the workshop. It's a 45-minute condensed workshop, so we don't have time to really do much life on life. But Aisha and I have committed to an hour a week, and we're meeting at my office, which is Starbucks. And we just talk about life. We talk about her passion statement, what she feels success is. We talk through some pain sometimes, right? Because one thing that we've identified is before we can really think about potential, we got to have an avenue to deal with pain. And Aisha, if you could just kind of talk a little bit about what the workshop experience has been like for you, us sharing life at my office, Starbucks, what that's been like for you, if you don't mind, sis. Wherever you want to go.
The last 3-4 weeks we have started driving. I have been extremely excited about because it has made me busy. Some things that I haven't been through before. Coming from lifestyle that I've been, living in the background, the generation I was brought up in, it has made me open up a lot of things. And I just can say, pain. Like, when we started talking about pain, like, struck me like, I barely like didn't know, but I know enough. I'm feeling comfortable about this. So it makes me feel better, because for the last 3-4 months, I've lost 2 of my loved ones. And what best place to talk about pain is with your own church. So it really opened me up, to visualize the passion and purpose I have in life. Because some days I wake up and I feel like I have no purpose. But it seems like every Sunday I get up and go to church. It's like, oh, if I didn't have a family at first, I had it. So I really love the fact that he's created this Thrive Leadership Academy, because it has opened up my heart, my mind to different, like totally different things, like things that probably stumbled me, in the past. But now I can overcome it, When we got on passion, I couldn't sleep like for a week, because it was like, what am I really passionate about? I can't go through life not knowing my purpose and my passion to succeed. So I'm thinking, I have 3 kids. Wake up every morning for them, not just myself. So by me being in the community and being brought up in the community in which my church is planning, I want to give them something that they can say, someone is, trying to help us, which, I'm trying to launch a daycare. In the community, there's no daycare. You probably got to get on a bus like for miles, to go to daycare, so that the kids can be productive as they're going. So, I'm really excited about this, and I'm so excited to be here today. Like, it's just mind blowing right now, because I'm not used to exciting like this. So all of the people that I talked to when I came in the door, you guys made me feel comfortable. So I just want to welcome myself and welcome everyone.
I mean, David said he encouraged himself. Nobody else does. I'll do it myself. So I also just kind of want to start with some with a major acknowledgement, and Kevin, thank you, as well as Charles. Kevin is right here. He is the owner of this facility, and he, with his generosity, allowed us to be here tonight. So definitely want to take time to just thank you. So, first and foremost, Victoria.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me pretty well?
I can hear you really well.
All right, let's try to do a microphone check. Paul, if you wouldn't mind just speaking a little bit, I'm just trying to see if they can hear us.
Good evening.
The microphone is here, so you are. Did you hear Paul when he said good evening?
I did.
Okay, all right. Rashawn, you're hearing us pretty good?
I'm sorry, yes, I can. I can hear you pretty good.
All right, great. So when it's time for them to kind of speak back to us, we'll just turn up the volume so that you all can hear them as well. What I think would be very fruitful right now is that if you all have an opportunity to know who's around the table. So I just kind of wanted us to take a brief moment, 30 seconds to a minute, to just kind of talk about who we are. If you want to speak on how you know me or how you're connected to the church, that would be fine as well. And I'm actually going to have our Google Hangout buddies to get us started, if that's okay. So, Victoria, can you get us started?
Sure. What would you like to know?
Yeah, just if you could, and they are joining us via Google Hangout because they're not local. So just talk to us a little bit, if you don't mind. Tell everybody who you are, how we met, why you're encouraged to be a part of this conversation.
Okay, I'm Victoria Queen, and I was the founder and president of Victory Trade School, which is a social enterprise school for at-risk adults. And I was at the Acton Institute recently, and Damien was the first person I met, and we talked and we talked and we talked, and he told me all about, or he told me a lot about what you're doing there, and it was really exciting, and some things he's wanting to do there in Chicago, and of course it got me thinking and about starting Victory Trade School and the social enterprises and things, and wondering if there's something there that you may be doing that I can help you out with.
All right, thank you so much for that. Rashawn?
Yes.
All right, so talk about the work that you all are doing out there in Detroit, Michigan, a little bit about how we connected, and take it from there, brother.
Okay. Well, first off, my name is Rashawn Maddox. I am the office coordinator over at Evangel Ministries proper, a part of eMERGE, which stands for Evangel Ministries Economic Restoration Group. So here in Detroit, eMERGE is the community outreach arm to our church, and we tackle a few key areas, one being poverty alleviation, which is really the all-encompassing goal, but we see that in a couple of areas, which is community and economic empowerment, education, and emergency assistance, which is the key areas that we tackle. Right now, we are engaged in a 2-year program that we have designed and called the Urban Enterprise Project. We're a Kern recipient as a result of starting this project. Kern has funded this program. We're in the midst of our second quarter of this program. We just finished out the poverty cure with the 10 leaders. But the Urban Enterprise Project is taking 10 leaders from all over the city of Detroit, training those leaders in the communities that they represent. We're training those leaders in economic theory training, personal finance, entrepreneurship, and various business trainings to prepare them to go back into their communities, identify 10 business owners each, and walk with those business owners with that same level of training. So we will also be at the Acton Institute next month, and we've met Damien as a result of our connection through the Kern Foundation.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. So here in the studio, Adam Farmer, if you don't mind getting us started. He's like, who was Adam? You?
Hello, everybody. My name is Adam Farmer, product of West Side of Chicago, near Oak Park, the Austin community. How did I meet Damien? He was brought to us a few years ago to go through the Social Leadership Academy. And if you all know Damien, he asked a ton of questions. And then he had follow-up questions. And then he had a few more questions. But we connected, like minds connect when we get together. And through the Social Leadership Academy, we tried to offer mentorship and a framework that he could then take and duplicate, which he's doing quite well. So congratulations. And I really stay around Damien because of Gabby.
Oh, you're pointing? Well, I'm a partner here with Adam Farmer. I'm Mark Chessman. Came together through guidance situation to create this leadership academy. It really was specifically inspired by my desire, along with Adam, to kind of help next generation entrepreneurial leaders build sustainable enterprises. I spent 25 years in corporate America and went through that world, and then I had an opportunity to join Facebook early on and opened my eyes to what's possible when you properly grow and nurture people to become all that they can be within an environment that's driven by a major purpose, something beyond ourselves. From that, we've evolved in developing a track for people to run, we call it. It's less about just kind of a curriculum that you would study in school, but you actually go through this process with other fellows. And Damien has been one of our star disciples in this process, and from that, we developed a relationship, and I've kind of become his coach, and he's coached me on a few things. I came from corporate world and 43 years before I came to know the Lord, and so he's been a great inspiration to me as a follower. I would say a relatively new follower. I've been kind of a few things about building sustainable enterprises. Kind of have an open hand to say whatever we're doing here, take it, and I'm going to do something with it. So
I'm running.
And he's running. Kind of Thrive Leadership Academy is really kind of our first affiliated what Social Leadership Academy is doing. We do what we do globally, virtually, because we're not able to decide it's all. This whole framework here is how we operate day in, day out. We have a few people this last fellowship from Nigeria who participated in what we do, and we just hope that people can benefit from it. So hopefully others. Got some other fellows in the room. Cat, where's the cat? Right. Come on. East. Yeah. Sherry.
I'm Eric Morris, and my wife Nathan Morris, and actually I've known Damien for about 17 years. We grew up in a church together, high school, we went to college together, roommates, and I'm just this whole thing just kind of reminds me just of a lot of the conversations that we had in college. When we were in college, we started investing together, just didn't know anything. So just to see him still doing this type of work is really encouraging. Both of us just here
First, my name is Reverend Jerome Nelson. I met Damien because he's kind of the church of our denomination. Part of our denomination is divided for the region. The region that we're in Chicago, Indiana, Illinois, really called the Central Conference. I'm the superintendent of this region, but we met those of the church. I was in Methodist Church and become bishop. I was in Catholic Church, like a cardinal by now. That's how I know. And I've been doing this amendment covenant for several years. My former life, I was a banker. I thought God wanted me to be rich. Not just rich, thank you. So, I grew up in an area where $1 million is a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. So I've had several businesses, like an entrepreneur. My second life, after that saved in Christ, and been pastors I've done in churches. So I worked for the company about 15 years ago, planted a church in Gary, Indiana, where I'm from. 28 years ago, so I've been part of this, even though Jim Wallace came out with a book recently, and I was challenged with what can I do to come? What's all of what God has done for me? What can I do to give that back? With all the experience I've gained, all the things I've done. So I moved to do that about 6 months ago. I called a meeting with all of our churches in Chicago. And the Spanish church said, what if somebody could help you do something like this? Money together, do businesses, and do something in the community. How would that happen for you? So we're talking to people like Paul, like what can we do to get together and share some of his knowledge, some of his experience? Paul speaks for himself, but how can I do that? So I say this very, very gently. I would say, please don't take me wrong. Somebody asked me, I told them I'm going to retire being what they call superintendent. But still, what can I do now to carry on? So I told somebody I've been superintendent for like 10 years, and I'm just going to go back to being black. And I mean that in a very positive sense of it's from some of my community. What have I done? So I've been in the church, I've been pastoring, doing those things. What can I actually do to get my hands, we'll call it dirty again, but in the mix, and start helping kids and mentoring and doing stuff. So Then he came by and gave me his asked me questions, then he asked some more questions, he asked some more questions. And so, yes, he invited me to come here, so I was interested in what he was doing. And so, I'm here because I'm concerned to see what I can do.
My name is Bill Dean. I work with Youth for Christ. I'm a guest of Paul Bontobel here tonight. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and meet you all. Youth for Christ, the chapter I'm involved with, covers Greater Chicago and Northwest Indiana. So our goal is to reach out to the 1 million or so middle school and high school students and share the gospel with them and encourage them to get plugged into the local churches.
So Youth for Christ or
Youth for Christ.
the church says campus home?
It's
the same thing?
It is.
I didn't realize that. Okay. It's one of the corners. It's wonderful.
Bill and I are from Valparaiso, Indiana, and not too far from here, about an hour's drive. And I'm here because of Damien and his persistence and his just good relationship. I met Damien probably about 6 to 8 months ago at the Moody Bible Institute, and we were at a luncheon, and Damien and I were at the same table. In fact, Damien was sitting right next to me. And so we chalked up a friendship and got talking, and Damien explained to me a little bit about the academy and also starting the church, and also telling me about his being a teacher. He's got a lot of interesting things going on in his life. And so it's one of those cases where you always say to the person when you sit at a banquet or, be in touch. You never do. Well, in this case, Damien and I, we did follow up, and Damien and Kathy, I met Kathy here. They've come out to Indiana, and we got there, and also I've been in Chicago, and I've seen some of the things that they're doing in Chicago. And, just appreciate being here tonight. It's a great evening, and your leadership, and you're a leader personified right here. This is a very exciting thing to learn about Thrive Leadership Academy, and just a passion that not only Damien has for it, but the students and the see the good that it's already doing. So just want to say it's good.
Walter? And if you could project well, because again, we have visitors.
Okay. Hello, my name is Walter Carr. I'm the father of Juanita Carr and Walter Carr back there. I met Damien about 3 years ago at Chicago Temple on the West Side. He used to worship in our building. And we worshiped together and love his family. We hook up sometimes, hook up for fellowship together. Love together. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy, and I actually met Pastor Damien when I was in seminary, where he placed an announcement in our graduate announcement. So that's when he and I first met, and then of course I met his wife Sherry. He and I also took leadership class together, Mark and Chapman at Farmer, and now Visionary has founded Thrive Leadership Academy. So I'm actually just so proud of him and his effort. He's just energetic. He loves people. He's humble. And I just know that as God continues with people, he's going to touch lives. You know, he's very unselfish. He and his wife. And I'm just proud of you.
Thank you. Brother Daryl, you could introduce yourself and take about a minute or so to talk about who we are, your connection to Thrive.
Hello, everybody. I'm Daryl Washington. And I'm actually a member of Thrive Covenant Church as well. So I went to the Social Leadership Academy with Mark and Adam over there. Learning some good stuff. Good to see you all. And also was a coach and member of the first cohort of the Thrive Leadership Academy. So that's just in a nutshell.
Oh, Daryl, talk about your business a little bit, please.
yeah, my name on business is actually my business. It's using real estate investment as a way of community transformation. And it's two-sided. One side is strictly real estate investment, wholesaling, buying, holding, as well as fixing and flipping. The other side is community transformation. We offer apprenticeships to learn different aspects of real estate, be it real estate investment, be it construction, general contracting, be it property management, be it real estate, any other real estate services. And you see a couple of our partners here. There. And we also came to the social academy, so we're working together and building some things to transform the community starting with their website.
So Paul Hawkinson, good to be here. This feels like circle of life to me. So I'm from Chicago. I grew up on the north side, but I went to high school on the near west side, and I played basketball at Manly, Marshall, Westinghouse, Farragut, Bangor. So I'm familiar, and I have a love for that community. I have about 10 pastors in my family who are a part of the Covenant Church, so it made sense that I would go work in finance, of course. And so I did that for about 17 years out in the corporate world, and then was involved in a number of other things, but about 8 months ago, I came back to be the CFO of the church denomination that this plant is a part of. And I got to know Mark Chapman through a totally separate group. And he said, and I was fascinated with what he was doing, and he said, well, you must know Damien because he's a part of your church. And of course I was new and I didn't, and I had also been looking for ways to kind of draw back to, I'm really drawn to kind of sustainable ministry and economic development in the city. So it feels like I'm in the right place. So yeah, just really, really happy.
I don't think you kind of introduced yourself as much earlier.
Yes, so Noelle Curtis, teaching these lovelies. But I am the quintessential entrepreneur. My family, my dad, was in farming for as long as I can remember. I literally grew up like shell and shrimp in the kitchen. And then we have an international produce and farming import-export distribution company. But I said, as much as I love farming, everybody has to eat. It's not really my passion. Okay. Although I have my garden in the backyard and my compost in the kitchen. But I actually own a day spa. It's called Big Jasper Day Spa and Wax Spa in Central Park, Chicago. And I focus on animal skin, talk about customers. If you have skin, you need to be in there and come see me. And it is a sustainable aspect, so now I actually am growing some products to express the essential oils to you in the spa. But for me, it was literally the second career. I came through marketing, media, advertising, and traveling the globe, and I was like, I'm so stressed. I need a spa. So I found all the spas where I was doing work. And then it moved from, well, I really like going to the spa. I'm not on the spa. And so that's how I'm here, and I became a part of Thrive through the members, Dora Bowen, who she and I used to go to a different church, and then we both left. She wound up there. I'm at Living Word, but you know, you always have to come together when God moves. He puts you and all of us in place for a reason. So I'm excited to see and be a part of the growth and see where this is going.
Ladies, thank you all for joining us. If you are
Okay. No, my name is Michelle Cancel, and I'm here because of Tammy as well. We both are here through Kathy, because your mom knows Kathy. We're just wondering, we're interested, we're curious about entrepreneurship.
My name is Tammy Honus. As she said, we know Kathy. Her and my mom is on the auxiliary board of the South 18th Army. I volunteer there and thinking about joining the auxiliary board. I haven't committed yet. But I do help in wherever I can there. Also, right now I'm in my passion. I'm in real estate. I want to eventually own my own company, obtain my broker's license, and so I'm working towards those goals right now.
Queen. Sherry.
Oh. Hi, I'm Sherry L. Howard, and I'm Damien's wife. That's it. And I'm with him forever, whatever he wants to do on here. I ain't going nowhere, so.
Works for me. You want to introduce yourself, young lady? Can you at least tell us your name?
What's your name?
Okay.
That's Gabrielle Howard, my daughter. If you could just put this right here.
Sure, absolutely.
Baby.
My name is Daniel. I'm one of the pastoral staff at the 9th Hour Church. We meet at the Salvation Army on Ogden. We recently joined the Covenant Church, and so Pastor Jerome connected us with Thrive, and we both our churches have a passion for the Near West Side, so we've partnered up and seen what we can do, help each other out, reaching and ministering to the Near West Side. My name is Renee Alvarado, and this is Amy Sparling. So we work with Good City. Good City's been around for over 25 years. And Jimmy Lee, unfortunately, is not able to be here as the president. So we want to just be supportive of Damien any way we can and collaborate with him and partner with him as well. So like I mentioned, Good City's been around for 25 years. Really, it's been around to support folks who want to bring good into the city, right? The shalom into the city. And we don't always get things right. We're working on stuff, but our heart is there. We love working with folks that are on the front line. We're not frontline people ourselves, but we like kind of coming alongside, much like a parachurch, right? Coming alongside folks who are really on the front lines, like Damien and the staff, that are working with youth and trying to make an impact in the city of ours that we love. So everyone on our team loves this city and would do anything to see it do good. So, yeah.
I'm Tom Olson. My full-time job is I'm the pastor of the Orchard Evangelical Free Church in Barrington, Illinois. My very, very part-time job is I work for the Kern Family Foundation as the Chicago coordinator for the Made to Flourish Pastors Network. It's a network that's passionate about getting pastors trained up and digging deeper and building relationships around the ideas of faith, work, and economics. And we also do some grant making to that end, as Rashawn mentioned, related to the work of Evangel Ministries in Detroit would be one of our most celebrated examples of grant making. So Damien and I have been in this network together for about 3 years now, and I'm just really grateful for his friendship and not going to lie.
Aaron, I see you joined us. If you don't mind unmuting and just introducing yourself to us, that would be great. We can't hear you, brother.
Yep, there we go. Just wanted to figure out how to unmute the device. Can you hear me? Awesome. Awesome. Everyone, Pastor Aaron Richardson, hailing from the fair city of Detroit. I am tremendously inspired by the support that is there in Chicago. Awesome. I applaud you all for coming alongside. Me too. I'm not causing all that noise, am I?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll just introduce you if you don't mind, because with the mic is better probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So Aaron, you kind of got an introduction to Evangel Ministries. I'm out in Detroit, and he as well is working with the Sean team for the great work that they're doing there. So we can shift to, again, at this point I said we wanted to talk a little bit about the build out of the process. However, before that starts, we actually have some pizza that came in. So at any point in time, if somebody wants to go and get some cheese, I believe pepperoni and also sauce. Add that in, please. Okay, all right. And cake. And more so than cheese. water, ice, a lot of good stuff. Hey, one of you all who that's connected with us via Google Hangout, can you hear us pretty well? Still? That's the sound? Okay, great. All right, I'll just take a few minutes. People that have any pizza, please, if you all want some pizza, get it. Seems like we have like a 5-minute intermission here, you all, so bear with us.
I think you might be similar to
Right.
According to my personality profile, that is a compliment.
Yeah. Yes. Hi.
No, well, Curtis, yeah, Linares is one. How are you? Yeah. Good. And actually, the campaign is done. He did. He was, I mean, he literally like took one day. I was like, okay, babe, sit over there for 2 minutes. I think I'm really he worked from but he's very good right now. He's been he's enjoying his time hanging out with them too, so that helps. So it's you know what Harrison still, right? Yeah, so it's one mess. That's 2 blocks before Harlem. Oh, yeah. So they really watch I'm literally going through construction right now, so it took 3 months. It's done. This time next month, we should be having yeah, so that's it. Yeah, far and away. Yeah, so I'm really excited. It's been,
There are none that I know of. That's my heart. I remember somebody in Detroit, and 12 number 4.
Y'all, we can take our seats, please, if you all don't mind. Last fellowship time at the end. Sorry. We can take our seats, you all, last fellowship time at the end.
Right. Yeah.
We'll go on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and get started. If I could just get a head nod from you all who are watching again, just to let me know again that volume-wise I'm okay, that you all can hear me. A thumbs up. Victoria, thumbs up, or a head nod if you can hear me pretty well. All right, great. So you all were going to just work through the packet that you all have in front of you. We're going to skip the second page for now. The second page is the one that talks about the advisory committee acts. We're going to skip that one for right now and just go on to the informational invitees. My apologies up front. This is not a comprehensive list. Some of the people who were going to be here today or who are here, I didn't know. Therefore, I didn't add you by the time that this is published. But I did want you all to get a feel for some of the people that we as a church are in conversation with, so that not only we can grow the Bible Academy and start working for sustainability. And sustainability for us is to grow this as a for-profit enterprise that's self-sustaining itself by year 3 of the organization. So we can flip to the next page. The top of the next page reads Thrive Leadership Academy Brief Description Document. And for those of you all who are watching it via Google Hangout, I sent this to you all, so definitely you can pull up the PDF to follow us. I'm not going to read this verbatim. Some of the main things that I want to touch on, I will do the rest. You have it for your information. That being said, if you jump all the way down to TLA's coaching process, we're going to have some phases, similar to what you all heard Mark say. There are tracks that are all part of the journey that we're utilizing to walk alongside people like Aisha. And as Mark kind of nudged me, we're trying to really support people to be successful according to their wildest dreams. But me being me, a part of living according to your wildest dreams is the sense that we want that to submit unto the authority of God. So Aisha and I talk about this all the time, and we have discussions in church. But as you all see with the first phase, there's a sense that what we've seen even as a church and me as a pastor, before we can even talk about potential, we have to let people know that you have an avenue that if you want to work through some pain, want to work through some hurt, be it grief, whatever, that we are here as a church to do that work. We find that whatever pain people are working through has stopped and blocked a lot of people from being able to live into their full potential and operate according to their full capacity. So that's step one for us, to say that even if you're not open enough, and we talk about vulnerability, vulnerable enough to open up and share your pain with us right now, know that this is a place that you can come to, namely to Thrive Covenant Church and or utilize any of us as Thrive Leadership Academy coaches. And that being said, Aisha, I'm probably going to say her name a lot because she's one who's really taking ownership of this work. She said, Pastor, I'm going to take you over that offer. I want you to meet with me every week for 1 hour. And we've been doing that work, and I'm helping to. She's been defining her statements. Then we start working on refining those statements so that ultimately, Mark, what can she do? Align it to her life, right?
That's it.
I told you, like Adam said, I'm running with it. You're doing it. So for pain and potential, then there's a sense of really trying to identify passion. I love Aisha's example of staying up at night because that's the same way that I am. Sometimes when I start thinking about the church plan, when I'm going to preach on Sunday, Thrive Leadership Academy, there's a sense that it overwhelms me to a point that I can't even sleep. And I want you to get your rest, sister, but at the same time, I felt good. Like, yeah, don't sleep. Get excited. You can sleep on it anyway. So from passion, then there's a sense of purpose. And this is one that we like to spend a lot of time on with Thrive Leadership Academy because we believe that if somebody can have a clear sense of purpose and direction for life, there's a sense that stuff starts to get precisely clear for you. As I'm starting to see it get for my sister because she's getting to a point that, man, I feel like this calling for you is actually a God-given call. This is my purpose. This is the reason why I exist. And with that, this laser clarity, then we can work and talk about goals and objectives to help her to work towards what she believes her purpose is. With that particular phase, you all see that we're going from there to talk about, okay, what's a product and or service that you can launch in the area of said purpose? How do we attract some people, right, to start working with you and help you build that dream team to live into that purpose? And then flip over. After we talk about the product or service, people, and then one thing that I skipped here is a sense of making profit for a long time, me as a pastor, and I don't know what I can accredit this to. Maybe it's part of my seminary training, maybe it's part of my missionary Baptist upbringing. There's a sense that you don't talk about money. You don't talk about profit. Why? So that is drastically shifted. There's a sense that for people like Aisha, I want her to be able to be sustained doing what she loves. I want her to be able to, when we talk about live according to your wildest dreams, the sense of being fulfilled from her work. And that means that maybe she has to create an enterprise. In order to do that, we want to help her to do that work. So that's really what phase one is going to be talking about. It's a sense of just coming up with your definitions, defining what passion is, defining what purpose is. We have some tools and resources that help us to do this work. Now, when we go into the second phase has a couple of parts. Either one part of phase two can be a sense of any of these keywords. Notice the alliteration from the preacher. All of these keys, if you want to dive deeper into one of those, dive deeper into purpose, dive deeper into passion. Maybe the initial 12 weeks wasn't enough. Then we give you a second phase offering to get one-on-one coaching and do that work with one of the coaches of the Thrive Leadership Academy. Another component of phase two, which is important to us through our partnership with Trinity International University, is a sense that we have a small business enterprise development. And with that, we're growing enterprises. Matt is an example of somebody who was just funded $5,000 so that he can start his launch, and Daryl was given some seed money as well to launch his enterprise. So that's where we end up doing a partnership with Trinity. One reason why I'm really excited about the work that we're doing with Trinity International University is a sense that I think that we have a component that separates us from a lot of other people who are doing enterprise development. One, we have a for-profit focus, and we're really intentional to say that we're helping to nurture and grow enterprises that create jobs for the sake of bringing economic flourishing to our communities. But I think the niche or the thing that separates us is, one, we have a business student who aligns him or herself with every entrepreneur from Trinity International. But in addition to a business student, we have a seminarian as well. So the seminarian comes in and talks about the stuff that Tom loves. What does it look like to integrate your faith with the work that you're doing and a strong concept of economics? So being good stewards of the resources you have, having excellent practices with the work that you do. That's more so the seminarian's job. So I really appreciated Mac's team because Mac lives far south. And his team even came from Deerfield a couple of times to the other side of Chicago just to work with this brother. And the seminarian and also the business student, I believe from his particular team, they've committed to working with him outside of the confines of the internship and the fellowship opportunity. So that's something I'm excited about. I think yours has committed to actually being officially a part of your organization, your enterprise. Yeah. So that's very encouraging for me to hear that the seminarians and also the business students, they're not just looking at this as something I have to do for credit. They're looking at this as an opportunity to really do life-on life with individuals. And that's the reason for us, we said we have to step back and do phase one first to really establish a foundation for why we do this work. And then phase two goes to either a deeper dive into any of the keys that you heard before, and or a deeper dive into really helping you to define what this business is going to be about. Phase three just provides further opportunities that if people wanted coaching and or just further support to launch and sustain their business. So if you think of phase one, there's a sense of plan for planning. Phase two, we're trying to help them to actually launch by the end of that phase. Now with phase three, it's about sustainability. What are the practices, procedures we need to support you putting in place in order that this is a sustainable enterprise versus just an idea. So that is all I wanted to really touch on here from that page. I want to briefly call your attention to TLA's 2015-2016 academic year budget and outcomes. And I wanted to be very transparent for this group to let you all know what my financial objectives are as it pertains to launching this organization. Now, a year ago, me coming before a group of individuals and being as transparent as I am right now, to say I need $154,000 to do this work probably would have scared me. It doesn't scare me anymore because I have a strong sense that God called me to this work. and I know that he's going to bring the resources. And quite possibly, this conversation that we're having right now will be a catalyst to spur on some of those resources coming in our direction. That being said, if you look at secured and pending funding, we've already secured $25K to do this work, and another $15,000 is pending. And as you all see, there's a total of roughly $154,000 as an ideal budget that we will have for the 2015-2016 academic year for Thrive Leadership Academy. All right, what's on this last page? Nothing that's worth me talking about right now. When we have done work of trying to let the Near West community know that we're here to serve you, we're here to love on you, the best response we've gotten is when we go to institutions and we work with different organizations and or institutions concerning the work. Like for instance, all of these young ladies are part of the Salvation Army. So when I went to the envoy, namely the pastor of the Salvation Army, and I told him, hey, this is what we're doing, then he introduced us and our program to these beautiful young ladies. The same with Brother Matt Boyd. I don't know if you all heard in his story. There's a sense that he was ringing bells for the Salvation Army, and when Envoy again learned of this organization, he said, Matt, you need to connect with this preacher. I think he's doing something that can benefit you, and the rest is history. So that being said, we're just taking that to the next level. I'm in conversation with all of the local elementary schools. I have not been in conversation yet with Crane High School, and that's kind of potential. Crane is kind of in transition, so I'm holding off right now until I figure out what's going on there. Definitely, we've been growing our relationship with the Salvation Army, and what I'm absolutely excited about, there's a Near West Community Development Corporation that's over there that does amazing work in that area. They already told us that we are going to be a part of their summer programming for 16 to 24-year-olds who actually want job skills. So we're going to be kind of the introductory process and leadership academy for these individuals from the age of 16 to 24, which is right there kind of in the space that we want to be age-wise. We want to work with millennials for this program. There's a bunch more that I could say, but I wanted to pause and give you all space and opportunity to ask questions if there are any questions. Or comments. Thank you, Superintendent.
$25,000. What is that? This one?
Let me put this in. I'm going to be moving this computer around. I'm sorry, that's my microphone for people to hear. Superintendent Nelson asked me about the launch and sustainability of businesses. There's $25,000. You all see here, seated here today, two of the enterprises that we've already been working with through the Thrive Leadership Academy, excuse me. And there's a sense that, yes, we've helped them to draft business plans, and we've gotten them to a point where they're excited about doing the work. But, like for instance, Daryl, what is your operational budget just to get started? So approximately $18,000. One thing that we really appreciated about Matt is the simplicity of his organization. The $5,000 is going to go a lot farther with him than $3,000 is going to go with Daryl. So for the businesses that we're already working with, in order for them to successfully launch and work towards sustainability, we need more than what we have.
And I guess what I'm asking is the sustainability part. How do you ensure that portion of sustainability? Is there any kickback, but give back to those businesses that are functioning? What are their position in terms of, if it's for profit in businesses, how do you get money back into that to do more business?
What is the kickback to the Thrive Leadership Academy?
Maybe kickback maybe not be a good word, but what is the responsibility of the entrepreneur in terms of maintaining this and keeping the program?
So, Daryl, I know we asked you all to work a sustainability model and student you all's plans that you all presented to us a few weeks ago. Are you clear on the superintendent's question? Because I think that you can speak to that quite well.
Okay, I'm sorry. On the 2015-16 budget, yeah, additional program costs. And it said launch and sustainability of business, $25,000. I'm saying, what does that mean? I can understand somebody needs money to get started. What is the sustainability of that with the $25,000? Are they giving back money into? It's like, are they tithing
these are wrong, these are church words, but are they tying them back into this program to get other businesses started? Is there a sense of being sustainable? Or will this always be about getting more donations to just start another business?
Okay, so you want to know, essentially, are the businesses themselves, once they get going, are they going to tie back into?
What will sustain Thrive? I'm saying, so without getting donations every time from people, getting this group together, will those businesses help sustain Thrive to keep on doing other businesses?
Well, for my particular model, I do have 10% set aside, and I sold back into. I can't speak for what every business is doing.
And I guess one question: is it possible to build that into it? I'm not sure you sustain something if you keep getting donations.
Right. So it's like, how do you set up going like a nonprofit? How do you prevent yourself from going always asking for funding, for grants, or to give donations? How do you create something that can sustain itself?
At some point, the academy should be able to sustain itself for what it's done in the past. Those businesses that they started, those things they have going.
So there's nothing I want you to speak to. So one thing that we are excited about is organizations like Daryl's, is that they have built into their model a tie that's going to go back to the Thrive Leadership Academy. But in addition to that, and I'll call you all attention back to the phases. If you can go to the page, and I'm sorry that this is the numbers. That would have been so much better for us. If we go to the page that has the second phase, hopefully you all can find that, the page right before Thrive Leadership Academy brief description. But the page after that has the second phase. Are you all at that page?
Yes, I'm.
All right, go one line above the second phase. Thrive Leadership Academy's for-profit model, there's going to be a $2,400 fee for participation in this phase. And initially, in order for us to have fellows that can pay that, we're going to be dependent upon scholarships from donors for the first 2 years. But as we live into the for-profit model for the sustainability of TLA, I'm sorry, I know that that's what you were asking about before, but for the sustainability of TLA, we're hoping to find different partners who can pay the money up front for any of these phases. And we already have an idea of what we would charge per phase for the coaching, for the workshops that we offer. For instance, I'm a teacher, and I'm seeing the drain of teachers across at least the district that I'm in. So one idea that came to mind as we work to grow into the for-profit component of the Thrive Leadership Academy is that would be one of the organizations that I would go to help us to build into this for-profit model that we have right here. And hopefully, because I've seen this work as well, is that we will get enough from the for-profit model that we can continue to do work in the community, even if we don't have scholarships or pro bono.
What's the commitment from the business that entrepreneurs, businesses that get started to the Thrive Academy?
Okay.
Into the community at large. So we start a business and they're on their own. What is the commitment to do whatever they're going to do in the community? If you're saying building sustainable.
To that question, there is no written commitment. As part of, yes, and that's the reason why I'm trying to be very intentional to say I need an advisory committee. And part of said advisory committee, I will hope to be that will come out of this conversation. However, within the training sessions that we do, similar to Brother Boyd talked about a little bit, is that one of the things that we focus on is if you want to be a part of this organization, the intent is that you create an enterprise that creates jobs. We want you to be very intentional that your enterprise isn't just self-serving, that is for the sake of creating jobs to create economic flourishing to the community. Now, that is stated in our training model, and we teach that, but again, it's nothing that they sign off on when they come into the Thrive Leadership Academy as a gift. But I'm very open to everything that you're saying right now because we're thinking about that.
I'm fine. As long as I'm open. I was going to help you think through those things. I'm just asking what you thought about it.
And I appreciate that.
It'll be important as you go along to get that kind of counsel.
Indeed. Anybody else? Great questions. I greatly appreciate those questions. And in fact, you all who are watching via Google Hangout, if you wanted to jump there with a question as well, please do so. We'll do our best to try to hear what it is that you're asking. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? All right, so since there are not questions and or comments, you all who are with us via Google Hangout, that's basically it for now. I'll be reaching out to all of you all in the near future here. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. You can stay on if you want to, but as far as the meeting, what we want to talk about, we're done. Now, if you all would go to we're done. If you all would go to the second page, it reads advisory committee acts for the Thrive Leadership Academy. For some people, you might not be able to fill out any thoughts as far as what you can offer at this particular point in time. But I want to be very clear to say that Thrive is intentional to bring all of these great people to the table because we're building an advisory committee for the Leadership Academy. I want to give you all the opportunity to look through this paper that's in front of you all and fill out all of the blanks. And if you have questions, I'm definitely here to address those questions. So we have pens somewhere in the room that we can circulate. And if it's premature, you think to just fill out specificity, something that you can offer in or a way that you can help, just let me know that on this sheet and I'll follow through. I'll follow up with you.
So, you'd expect that from me. I'll use this.
He might be done. You done?
You have another one? No, he had one.
Real expensive.
I waited till you were in the zone.
So when you were on staff, you were on staff with you for practice?
I was volunteering. But Benny was executive director.
Which, with a certain school or just
we had the schools in Gary. We first started the urban ministry program, so I had like Roosevelt High School. I don't know if you can see, but
a little bit, yeah.
Roosevelt,
I've been
West
to the
Side.
facility that Benny has now a couple years ago.
Okay. Good. So yes, I did that for a number of years. So we had campus, youth advice clubs in our home, and we did the burger bashes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We were working with the high schools.
Nice.
What's the gentleman's name? Paul. I'm going to meet with Paul Hawkins next week. I'll be back up in Gary. I don't know how familiar you are with Gary politics, but former council person at large name is Chuck Hughes. He's councilman at large. I was his campaign manager. He is now the president or CEO of Chamber of Commerce for Gary. I'm going to have a meeting with him next week. Some things they were talking about doing, but they need partners in doing. So my concern is that I just don't want to get involved in stuff just for the sake of doing something. I've done that too many times in my life. So that's not my interest. Like the question I'm asking, just to help somebody start something, I don't know if that how the benefits the community helps them individually, but if that's the goal, how do we do that? So I would love to visit. If I can contact you, I'll come up to see you in Valpo or whatever.
Have you been in the mix with the Revive Indiana?
I haven't. That's why I need to come back around. I need to get back in conversation with
Where do
you.
you live?
I live in Chicago. I live in Evanston. Because my office is in Chicago.
Because I almost went to Randall's meeting yesterday.
Okay.
A prayer meeting with trying to get the Lake, Porter, and Port counties together.
Do you know who's overseeing that?
I'll forward you an email.
Could you please? Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Kyle Martin.
That means familiar.
Is,
Thank you, sir. I'll thank you for this. That's my card. Perfect. So if you didn't know that, I appreciate that. I'd like to know.
I think I've got it in here still. Let's see.
So when I call you, I'll say, Jerome Nelson, I met you at this event. So and I'll come up to Valpo. Just talk to me.
We can meet someplace.
Okay.
That was yesterday.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Life Church.
I would definitely.
So Sunday night is kind of the big kickoff, and then June 8th to the 14th is the big push for rallies.
Okay.
Basically mobilizing the church people to go out and pray for the churches and the pastors, and then ask them how to go in the communities and how can pray for them. And then I've got the stories for the gospel to do that. And then in the evening, finally again at the Genesis Center here.
Okay.
To fire people up.
Okay.
To do it again.
Which Sunday? Is it next Sunday or?
This Sunday night, the night before. That's
I'm not.
Sunday night is at Central. June 8th to the 14th. I think the main hub is at the Genesis Center. They're going to simultaneously
I'll try to make it Sunday. Okay. Well, if you need my, I appreciate it. So I'll make it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's big enough for this. That's what they're meeting with. Yeah, that's. They wanted at least 2.
My Mark, yes. Do you need it? Adam, hug your wife.
Charging this computer. Thank you. Yep.
Excuse me. Hey. I'm sad I didn't make it. I'm sad. I feel
Okay. I'll give you a count. Yes, tell everybody. You better stop. Chris, how you doing? All right. You in the place? I met my wife. So, information. Let me tap on the red button. Just close it for me. Just close it, man. Then it should